I'm sorry. That was acting. That's what that was. I don't really care what happens with this movie. I really hope her career is pretty much over. I'd be thrilled to see that. I can't imagine. I mean, Chris.
Joel, I think I found something.
Whoa!
What? No, nothing. It's just your forehead seems bigger than last season. I think I found a way.
Because Ellie still looks and acts like a 14-year-old from season 1, even though she's supposed to be 19.
Yes, maybe we can prop it open with something and you can slide.
Whoa!
Oh my god, what? Is it getting bigger? Stop it. No, seriously, what's with that? It's fine, Joel. Does it hurt? Joel, please, you're making me self-conscious. I'm sorry, it's just a little bit startling. Normal head, Joel, can we just get back to the door things? It's planetary. Leave it. It's gonna have its own area code soon.
We just had to not like each other for a bit.
You had to not like me, which came easy.
Like most people, I liked the first season. I thought they did a great job. Season 2, I was skeptical on them not recasting Ellie and keeping Bella Ramsey as Ellie because it's supposed to take place 5 years into the future, but obviously Bella Ramsey in real life was not going to age that much in, the 2 years it took between seasons. So in the show, Ellie still looks exactly the same, but is supposed to be 5 years older. Also, Ellie still acts exactly the same. For some reason, they made the decision for The Last of Us Season 2 to make Ellie dumb, to the point where she even says that she's stupid. Why? That just kind of betrays the character.
Change up your impression at all, or is it pretty much the same?
Well, the noise is the same. I've not got any more noises in my back pocket. The new infected are pretty terrifying. They're so smart, and they haven't really got a noise. That's the whole point of them. They're silent and terrifying.
Ooh, give us a little silent and terrifying.
Hollywood can be a brutal place. One day you're the face of a billion-dollar franchise, and the next you're mocked, replaced, and left wondering what went wrong. That's exactly what happened to Bella Ramsey. Once hailed as a rising star who could carry The Last of Us into the future, she's now being dragged across the internet as one of Hollywood's biggest disappointments. And the person who delivered the harshest critique wasn't a critic or a YouTuber, it was Joe Rogan. On his massive platform, Rogan roasted Bella's meltdown, her arrogance toward fans, and her behavior on set, turning her career collapse into a viral punchline. It wasn't always this way for Bella. She broke through in Game of Thrones as Lyanna Mormont, a role so fierce and commanding that she instantly stood out from the rest of the cast. Fans praised her, critics called her a natural talent, and Hollywood quickly took notice. When HBO cast her as Ellie in The Last of Us, it felt like a perfect match. Season 1 proved the hype was real. Bella's portrayal was different, emotional, and intense. She became the face of the franchise. Plastered across posters, interviews, and magazine covers, she wasn't just playing Ellie, she was Ellie, or at least that's what fans thought. But after that first season, something changed. Bella started giving interviews that rubbed fans the wrong way. She called the original game outdated. She suggested that longtime supporters of the series were afraid of change. Instead of thanking fans for supporting her, she acted like she was the one in charge of the franchise, and it didn't stop there. On set, she reportedly pushed for script changes, challenged directors, and even refused certain lines. What started as confidence quickly turned into arrogance. Fans began asking, who does she think she is? The problems were magnified in season 2. The story jumped 5 years ahead, with Ellie meant to be 19. But Bella looked and acted exactly the same as she had in season 1. The maturity, the growth, none of it came across. Viewers struggled to believe in the time skip. To make matters worse, the writers seemed to bend the character to fit Bella's limited range. Ellie was portrayed as childish, even calling herself stupid at one point. Fans were outraged. The Ellie they loved had been rewritten into something unrecognizable. That's when Joe Rogan entered the conversation. On his podcast, Rogan is known for being blunt. He'll call out politicians, celebrities, or athletes without hesitation. And when Bella Ramsey's name came up, he didn't hold back. "Dude, what happened to that girl?" Rogan said, shaking his head. She was Ellie for one season. Now she's acting like she invented the character. He laughed and compared Bella to other stars who rose quickly and collapsed just as fast, saying she let the fame go to her head. According to Rogan, Bella thought HBO owed her everything, but in reality, Hollywood doesn't wait around for anyone. Rogan's criticism didn't stop there. He pulled up clips of Bella's infamous livestream, the one where she broke down crying, claiming she had been abandoned by HBO and misunderstood by fans. Rogan mocked the performance. "That's not how you handle things," he said. "You don't go live in tears and tell the world you were Ellie. No, you played Ellie. There's a difference, and if you forget that, the fans are going to remind you real quick." His guest on the show agreed, adding that the only real Ellie was the one in the game. Bella was just one actress who lost sight of her place in the bigger picture. The internet exploded. Clips of Rogan tearing into Bella went viral on TikTok, Twitter, and YouTube. Reaction videos poured in with creators praising Rogan for saying what fans had been feeling for months. Bella's livestream meltdown was turned into meme material all over again. Only this time, Rogan's commentary played over the footage. It wasn't just a fan backlash anymore. It was a cultural event with one of the biggest podcasters in the world leading the charge against her. Meanwhile, HBO stayed silent. They didn't defend Bella. They didn't push back against Rogan's words. They didn't release any statement at all. For a network that had once promoted Bella as the next big thing, their silence said everything. Insiders reported that executives had grown tired of Bella's on-set behavior, directors were frustrated, writers felt disrespected, and crew members whispered that entire scenes had to be filmed without Bella's knowledge just to keep production moving. She had gone from HBO's golden child to their biggest headache. Even her co-stars began to distance themselves. Pedro Pascal, who had once praised Bella in interviews, suddenly avoided answering questions about her. In one clip, when a reporter asked about Bella, Pedro awkwardly shifted the subject, leaving fans to speculate about the tension behind the scenes. Leaked messages from crew assistants suggested that even Pedro had grown tired of Bella's antics. He wanted to finish the show, but she made everything about herself. Rogan picked up on that too. On his show, he pointed out that Hollywood never tolerates actors who think they're bigger than the story. "You're not bigger than the role," Rogan said. "You're not bigger than the franchise. If you can't handle it, the studio moves on." For Bella, those words stung because they reflected exactly what was happening. HBO was already planning for life without her. The fan base had turned against her, and her name was now tied less to her talent and more to her drama. After Rogan's critique went viral, Bella did the one thing people expected. She disappeared. No new posts on Instagram, no tweets, no interviews, silence. The actress who once couldn't stop talking now had nothing left to say, and in many ways, it was her only option. Every time she opened her mouth, the backlash grew. Silence was safer, but it also confirmed what everyone already believed. Bella Ramsey's career was spiraling out of control. The bigger picture here is brutal but undeniable. Fame is fragile. Bella went from breakout star to industry joke in less than 2 years. And Rogan's takedown made sure the entire world saw it unfold. What started as a few bad interviews turned into viral backlash, and what turned into backlash eventually became the end of her Hollywood rise. Bella Ramsey's story isn't just about one actress losing a role, it's about what happens when fame is mishandled. She thought she was Ellie. She thought she owned the story. She thought HBO needed her more than she needed them. But as Rogan reminded everyone, the truth is simple. She wasn't Ellie, she was just playing Ellie, and when you forget that, Hollywood doesn't hesitate to replace you. What made Rogan's words so devastating was not just their bluntness, but their timing. Bella was already on shaky ground with the fan base, already being whispered about in industry circles, already testing the patience of HBO executives. His comments didn't create the backlash, they amplified it. Suddenly, what fans had been posting in Reddit threads and YouTube comments for months was now being said by one of the most influential voices in media. And when Rogan laughs at you, the world laughs with him. The viral effect was staggering. Entire TikTok accounts dedicated themselves to remixing Rogan's rant with clips of Bella's performances. Memes of her forehead line from season 2, paired with Rogan's mocking delivery, racked up millions of views. Twitter threads compared her downfall to other infamous Hollywood collapses, with Bella trending for all the wrong reasons. On YouTube, reaction channels seized on the moment. Titles like Rogan ends Bella's career and Bella Ramsey humiliated on podcast flooded recommendation feeds. The narrative was no longer contained to hardcore fans of The Last of Us. It had crossed into mainstream pop culture. And in Hollywood, that kind of narrative shift is poison. Casting directors pay attention to trends. Executives look at public perception. Investors care about brand value. When Bella's name started being associated more with controversy than talent, the offers slowed down. Behind the scenes, projects she had been attached to quietly backed away. A small indie film dropped her from consideration, citing creative differences. A studio that had been considering her for a fantasy adaptation simply stopped returning calls. It wasn't just HBO losing faith, Hollywood at large had begun to move on. Rogan himself, in later podcasts, doubled down on his stance. He framed Bella's downfall as an example of a broader Hollywood problem, young stars being given too much power too early without the maturity to handle it. It's not about hating her, Rogan said in one follow-up conversation. It's about seeing the pattern. She was talented, sure, but she let the attention mess with her head. And once you do that, it's over. His audience nodded along. For them, Bella had become the cautionary tale, the living embodiment of wasted potential. Meanwhile, fans of The Last of Us began speculating about her replacement. Social media buzzed with fantasy casting choices, actresses who could believably portray an older, hardened Ellie without dragging along the baggage Bella had accumulated. Every name thrown into the ring seemed to further the impression that Bella was already out of the picture, and the silence from HBO only reinforced that belief. If the studio had plans for her future, they weren't sharing them. The fact that they allowed Rogan's words to dominate the conversation without stepping in spoke louder than any official press release could. Bella herself seemed paralyzed by the situation. Weeks passed with no statement, no attempt to clarify, no effort to rebuild her image. And in Hollywood, silence is rarely a strategy, it's a death sentence. Her absence from social media was interpreted not as dignity, but as defeat. Former fans wrote posts about how disappointed they were, how they had once defended her but could no longer do so. The more she stayed quiet, the easier it was for the world to move on. Rogan's takedown also highlighted a deeper truth about modern celebrity. You can't fight the internet and win. Bella tried to lecture her fans, tried to shame them for disagreeing with her vision of Ellie, and in doing so, she lost the very people who had made her famous. Rogan simply held up a mirror to that reality. His massive platform magnified the mistakes she had already made, ensuring that her downfall wasn't just whispered among hardcore fans, but broadcast to millions. As the dust settled, industry insiders began to reframe Bella's career not as a tragedy, but as inevitability. She had talent, yes, but she lacked the humility and discipline required to survive in the cutthroat world of Hollywood. She believed her own hype. She confused being the face of a franchise with owning the franchise. And once that illusion cracked, there was no saving her. Rogan, with his trademark bluntness, had simply accelerated the process. In the end, Bella Ramsey's story will likely be taught as a cautionary tale for years to come. She soared too high too fast and believed she was untouchable. But Hollywood doesn't work that way. No matter how bright your star burns, if you lose the support of fans, co-stars, and studios, the light goes out quickly. Rogan's viral critique didn't just embarrass her, it cemented her reputation. She wasn't Ellie, and she never would be again. She was just another actor who let fame slip through her fingers.